kids last night, so I'm not quite as alert this morning as I am. In fact, little grandbaby Micah got put in the bed with me this morning at, I don't know, it seemed like it was like 1 in the morning, but I think it was about 4. But I may have to rush out just for a minute. May not get to hear the bishop, but I love to hear speak because my wife wants me to help out, so I'll have to head back. But let me give you a little update. It's great to be back. It's great to be back home. How many of you, by the way, were at the Virginia Congressional Prayer Caucus kickoff meeting we had on the steps of the Capitol last week? I know a few of you were. I've talked to a couple of you now. Come on, fess up. Oh, okay, here we go. One, two. It was a very, very unique event. If you get my emails, we'll send one out with a lot of the video of it. We had the governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general. We had Mike McIntyre, who is a Democratic United States congressman, who, along with Randy Forbes, founded the Congressional Prayer Caucus. And then, so this was the kickoff of the Virginia Prayer Caucus, and it was a really outstanding event, well attended, probably 300 or 400 people, and just a unique opportunity on the Capitol steps in Richmond. So more about that if you want to check on my Jeff at just jeffmcwaters.com, that is. Let me just talk about this redistricting plan. So you know, every 10 years when there's a census, there's the opportunity to change the lines. And whichever party is in control of the House, whether it's the House of Delegates, so that's the Republicans, and then of course in the Senate it's the Democrats. There's 22 of them, 18 of us. That's who gets to draw the lines for their particular body. And basically we know that there has been a population growth, obviously, in 10 years, going from going to about 8 million Virginians, which means one senator represents about 200,000, almost dead on 200,000 individuals. One person, one vote. That's the idea, that's the notion. So if you divide the 8 million by 40, you get some 200,000 that each of us is to represent. Well, for at least 20 years and probably more, Virginia Beach has been represented by 2 senators, which are basically full-time. In other words, basically 100% elected by the citizens of the city of Virginia Beach, like in my case in the 8th senatorial. Chesapeake, a city of 250,000, same thing. Pretty much Harry Blevins, primarily, completely, a couple of precincts in Virginia Beach, but almost completely elected by the great citizens of Chesapeake. So that's important. That gives us 2 strong representatives for Virginia Beach, and there are a few others that also take up parts of Virginia Beach that help us on votes and issues, and that helps Chesapeake. But that's not good enough for the Democrats, and in essence what they've done is taken away a seat to begin with, taken away 1 seat. Now here we are, largest city in Virginia, 438,000 people. So easily 2 senators, 400,000 people represented, same thing we've been doing for 20 plus years. That would make sense. Chesapeake, 250,000, 1 senator, 200,000, easily makes sense. That's not the way the Democrats want to do it. And someone said to me the other day, they said, they don't like you, McWaters. Hey, no, that's a compliment. If I got up there in 2 years, those guys like me already, you ought to send me back home. So here's the deal. They took one of our seats and moved it basically to Northern Virginia. Or you could say they moved it to Richmond, actually. There was a new seat put in Northern Virginia as well, but they basically took 8 and just got the same number on it, 8, just put it across the southern part of Richmond. And then that creates a district that starts on the other side of the Lester Bridge. Some of your golfers maybe know where the Bayville course is, and I forget that neighborhood community over there. You come across the Lester Bridge. This is the new Senate district that replaced my Senate district, in essence. It's number 14. Comes down Shore Drive, down the Cape, all the way down the ocean front, just past the airfield, all the way down to the state line, shoots over, up into Chesapeake, and back up towards Norfolk. And in that district is Harry Blevins, and in that district, when they drew it, was Frank Wagner. Then they created another district, pretty heavily Democratic, which took on kind of part of Virginia Beach, the airport, Little Creek, some other parts of Norfolk, some other parts of Virginia Beach, the airfield, and then they kind of reached up there just a little bit and grabbed my house and took that line up. So my neighborhood, like my neighbor across the streets in the 14th, but my neighborhood happens to be in what that new number is, the 7th. which was Frank's old district number. So they took Frank basically and put him in a district with Harry, drew a new district for me, pretty heavily Democratic, and that's where I'm jammed. Then they found out they had made a mistake. The press kept calling me saying, yeah, you and Frank are in the same district. I kept saying, no, we're not. The line is very close. I thought at first they'd put us all three in the 14th. The lines were so close. I said, no, we're not in the same district. Frank and Harry are in the same. No. I said, well, who are you talking to? Well, Democrats. Well, Democrats think that me and Frank Wagner are in the same district. Well, yeah, that's what their intention was. No. Day goes by, and they figured it out. They had Frank's wrong house address. Well, now, you know, this process is supposed to work. One person, one vote, keeping communities of interest together, being thoughtful about historic patterns in geography and how things have been done. And then all of a sudden, when they found out that he had a different house address, they were able just to draw him right back in. So now Frank and I are in the 7th. We have Harry Blevins, who has probably 35% of the district of Chesapeake and 65% of Virginia Beach. Fine gentleman, fine Republican, but not representing fully Virginia Beach. So it's a mess. And that's just an example of where we live. It goes on and on and on. It gets better. Let me give you a few facts and I'm going to get out of here so the bishop can speak. But it ignores communities of interest. And so what we did, just so you know, so we don't say, well, we're just a party. No, we worked very, very hard as Republicans to draw our own plan. We've been working on it for months because we had to say, no, we don't want your plan, but let's look at our plan. And of course, they summarily voted it down. It has no chance of going to the governor. Their plan just got passed. We'll go to the governor. 22 votes for them, 18 votes against it. But in our plan, and I won't bore you with this, but there's something called variation. That's variation between districts, 40 districts. Our plan, if you're in the United States House of Representatives, federal law requires that one person, one vote, there be no difference in the population in the 11 districts for the United States House of Representatives. We'll be voting on that Monday night. Then, if you go to the House of Delegates, the Virginia House of Delegates, there's 100 House of Delegate members, and they decided that they would have a 1% variance in their districts. So you kind of back up and you say, well, then wonder what the Senate of Virginia should be, kind of halfway between 40 senators in Virginia. So the United States House is 0, 100 in House of Delegates is 1% variance. Kind of would make sense we'd be about a 0.5% variance, wouldn't it? That's how we drew our map, a 0.5% variance. But the way they're able to do some of the ridiculous things they did is, no, they chose a 2% variance. So again, I'm just giving you some little snapshots of the crazy things they did to accomplish their highly political goals. It splits their plan, 38 counties and 12 cities. Just splits. Some cities had never been split. Lynchburg, split right in half. I forget the name of the other town. They had never been split ever. 3 different senators now representing that one town. Those splits that I just described, that's 5 more than the current map, and 8 more than our map, and 16 more than the governor's bipartisan reconditioning plan. So that's counties and cities. It goes on and on and on. I won't bore you with these details, but you know, the good news is some of you remember back when we were electing Governor McDonald. And in a lot of his speeches, he said how important this election was for him because of the upcoming redistricting. Well, now you're seeing just how important that is. And let's take something else. It's very close and dear to our hearts. The $7.5 million the Democrats took out of the budget here in Virginia to match with Virginia Beach for Brown. You can say, well, that's a lot of money. And someone would say, well, that's not that much money. The issue is that we need strong representation down here because basically the Northern Virginia Democrats are trying every way they can to eat more and more of the pie and take more and more of your tax dollars. That's just the long and the short of it. The 2 years I've been up there learning about this game. So this is why it was so important to elect Bob McDonald. This is why it's going to be even more important to get 21 Republicans in the Virginia Senate, because Bob can veto their plan. He can amend their plan, and he can veto their plan. Now, I'm not speaking for the governor, but I'm pretty comfortable that he is on our side on this issue. But he's the only hope we have. If we did not have him, that would be your district's plain and simple. Maybe worse than that if we didn't have Bob McDonald as your governor to veto this plan. So, you know, it's, sometimes we, you know, I know you don't, but sometimes your neighbors who are Republicans say stuff like, well, you know, it doesn't make that much difference. They all kind of do about the same stuff. You know it makes a difference. That's why you're here. That's why you volunteer. That's why you walk. That's why you make phone calls. Because you know it makes a difference at the end of the day. And this is just one example, one civic lesson on how it makes a difference. I've learned about 50 of them since I've been here. So I appreciate everything you're doing. I don't want to take up any more time. I know I kind of rushed through it. God bless you guys, and thanks for being strong Republicans.